Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be going over a potential winter storm that could be heading for parts of the Northwest, parts of the Rocky Mountains, and also parts of the Upper Plains. It should be a pretty big event for many people. Snowfall is a little, we're going to have to see. The European model and the GFS model are a little off, so they're not agreeing, so we do have quite a, we need to figure out where this thing is going and how much snow will we get, where will we get it. But what we do know is we are getting a snowstorm for parts of the Northwest, the Upper Plains, and parts of the Rocky Mountains this week, and we do definitely need to figure it out, and what's happening. But if you do go on to enjoy today's video, consider subscribing and leaving a like down below, and let's go ahead and get into it. So you can see right here, we do have this high pressure across the Northwest. This is pumping quite a bit of cold air that we do have in place. We do have quite a bit of cold air in place. And you can actually today and yesterday especially, we have quite a bit of cool air across the east too. So we do actually have a pretty cool United States. It's pretty cool except for parts of the south, but it has been pretty cool outside lately. Starting since yesterday when we did get that cold front to push through across the east, you can see right here across the west. You can see right here. This is what we're gonna start watching. You can see it right here, and you can see you can't see it like right here, but we do actually have quite a bit of cold air in place. It's the Northwest at this time of year. We always do have the cold air in place in October most of the time, and you can see this has it coming in sometime on your Tuesday, maybe late Monday night. In the Tuesday we're going to be watching it, and you can see how we get our first bit of snow across parts of western Washington, also snow across parts of northwestern Minnesota, northwestern Montana. I did not mean to say Minnesota, I meant to say Montana. And you can see we do have this high pressure that is bringing more cold air in place, colder air that will be pushing in and causing quite a bit of snow to fall, because very little people will be seeing rain from this. We will see some rain from this across the Northwest, but we'll see a lot of snow too. Now across the Northwest we'll see mostly snow, but once it gets across the eastern United States, I'll show you in a minute, it should become rain, and we may see some relief for drought too across the east, as you will see in a minute. But you can see this is on your Wednesday. You can see really heavy snow, or just snow, of course, across especially central and eastern Minnesota, northwestern Wyoming, parts of central Idaho. You can see quite a bit of that in northwestern North Dakota. You can see it. And other than that, we have some rain on the front of it. You can see right here on the very front of it, southeastern Minnesota, parts of northwestern North Dakota, and you can see once it moves more east, we do get a little bit more rain in place because we don't have as much cold air there, but we do have this high pressure behind it that should be supporting it, and it should be giving cold air. We're going to see how cold the air will be, and certain places, how much will they get? It's kind of a toss-up because we have to see how much cold air maybe northwestern Minnesota has for that snow to come down. It may just be rain. We're going to have to see, but you can see this is going to be by your Thursday. You can see this thing is really ramping up. We do have the cold air right behind this. This is when it should be almost at its strongest. And you can see we do have something of everything. We have a wintry mix in place. We have snow. We have really heavy rain in place. You can see we actually do have a potential nor'easter over here that I will be covering most likely on Tuesday, because I do have a winter storm forecast coming out tomorrow. But you can see right here that we do have quite a bit of snow across parts of Wyoming into western Nebraska, western South Dakota, central and western North Dakota. You can see we do have quite a bit of snow in place, and then across the eastern part of the storm we do have rain in place, and we do even have a little bit of a wintry mix in parts of Nebraska, which is never good to have ice like that. But you can see we do have really heavy rains too, which could cause potential flooding. We'll have to see how that does go down. And you can see how as this does keep moving east by your Thursday, by probably Thursday evening into Thursday night, you can see we do have quite a bit of rain across Minnesota, Iowa, parts of Oklahoma, Missouri. We're starting to see some rain. But you can see we do still have some snow across Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, Wyoming. We still have that snow in place. Oh, gosh. And you can see how we do have this high pressure right here, where we do have this high pressure pumping that cold air across a lot of these regions. And you can see by your Friday, we still do have the snow in place. Now, this is the area where we're going to have to keep watching and seeing how this is going to go. But you can see we do get this turnover to snow across western Minnesota, eastern North Dakota, eastern South Dakota, northeastern Nebraska, western Iowa, and you can see we do have some pretty heavy snow. And you can see in eastern Minnesota and eastern Iowa, down across the central United States, in parts of Michigan, Wisconsin, we do have some really heavy rain in place, maybe even severe weather the more south you go, where it's a little warmer and we have more of an unstable environment. And you can see as we do keep going into your Saturday, you can see we still do have quite a bit of heavy snow across eastern North Dakota, parts of northern Minnesota. A lot of the rain has moved north, and we do have this little bit of a line coming down that you'll see, and it'll bring some rain across parts of the eastern United States. But you can see this really, really heavy snow, and we still do have this high pressure pumping some cold air. And when this storm goes by, we're going to see cool air across the eastern United States too. So this is bringing a lot of impacts. Bringing cool air, it's bringing rain, it's bringing a wintry mix, it's bringing snow. So it is a big winter storm affecting many people. But you can see as we get into later on in your Saturday, you can see we do have the snow diminishing. The storm's weakening a little bit towards the United States. You can see we have some snow across Wisconsin, even across parts of northern Michigan, getting into a little bit of Michigan, a lot of rain there too. And you can see we still have some leftover snow showers across eastern North Dakota, maybe even northern Minnesota, maybe changing back over to a rain at the end of the storm, which could melt some snow. We're going to have to see if we don't have enough cold air in place. And you can see this just keeps moving on. By next Sunday, this is finally moving out. This lasted quite a while, and you can see how it finally does move out, and it's, you can see how it just moves out into Canada. But you can see before that, it did bring some rain across the eastern United States. It's not bringing much, but you can see the southeast, you get a little bit. It's nothing too much, but we do need it. So, any rain we get is not, we're not going to complain about it. But you can see we do have quite a bit of activity coming across the east over the next few weeks that we're going to have to be watching, because it could get pretty crazy across there. We're going to have to be watching. But you can see even across the northern tier of the United States, we do keep having storms coming through. If we were to look at your snow totals, so your snow totals are going to be pretty big in this. We're going to have to watch out for this and see how much is actually going to stick to the ground and how much could melt away from the rain. But you can see right here, you can see we do have quite a bit of snow across Minnesota, Wyoming, Idaho at the beginning of this storm. You can see the highest elevation is probably around a foot of snow, and then you have about 8 inches as we get into those lower elevations. You can see where you are in those purples. You have about 8 inches. And then in those light blues, around 3 to 5 inches. And you can see up here we do have quite a bit of snow too, 6 to 12 inches. In those high elevations, you can see across parts of Idaho, 3 to 6 inches. Generally, maybe a little bit more in some regions. You can see across Colorado, we do have, you can see we do actually have some snow across Colorado, across those Rocky Mountains. You can see this has generally 1 inch across eastern Colorado. But once we get up into the highest elevations, maybe 2 to 6 inches, something like that. And 6 inches on the very high end, of course, we're going to have to see. But you can see across most of Wyoming in these lowest elevations, 1 to 2 inches. But once you get higher up in those elevations, maybe 6, 8 inches. But if we were to move more east now, you can see across parts of Nebraska, generally 1 to 3 inches, maybe a little less. Across central and southern Nebraska, so not picking up anything crazy. But it's still snow, it's still dangerous. But if we were to keep going, you can see across northern Nebraska, maybe 4 to 6 inches. And if we were to keep looking, you can see South Dakota anywhere from 5 to 7 inches. Generally, we do have quite a bit of snow in place, maybe a little bit more. But across western South Dakota, we're going to have to be watching if we don't have enough snow coming in. If you do remember, the storm did intensify as it moved more east. So we're seeing bigger snow totals the more east we go. Then you can see across North Dakota, generally probably across eastern North Dakota, anywhere from 4 to 8 inches, maybe a little bit more in those highest elevations, or wherever we do get the heaviest snow in place. You can see anywhere from 2 to 6 inches across western North Dakota. Now, if we were to move into Minnesota, this is the very controversial place. You can see how this does have a lot of snow in place. It has almost 2 feet of snow, maybe a little bit more, in place for northwestern Minnesota. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, on the European model, it has almost nothing, maybe a dusting the European model does have. So this is, we do have a pretty big difference in the totals. But this does almost have 1.5 to 2 feet of snow, maybe even a little bit more than that, in place after the storm does come through. You can see across parts, south of that, maybe 5 to 7 inches across central Minnesota, and across eastern and southern Minnesota, maybe 1 to 3 inches, maybe even a little bit more, but generally 1 to 3 inches. And also, as we do move on into Wisconsin, you can see generally 1 to 3 inches across most of Wisconsin possible. Of course, this will change, but this is mainly central Wisconsin, 1 to 3 inches, and then north of that, maybe about 2 to 5 inches. That's what we're looking at. And you can see across northern Michigan, maybe pick up a dusting. Nothing too much there. Mostly rain there. And if we were to look at your rain totals, because the rain totals will be pretty big too, you can see our rain totals. We do have, we could actually have some pretty good rain in place across parts of Missouri, parts of Oklahoma, Arkansas, a possible picking up 1 to 2 inches across a lot of these regions from this. Even Michigan, 1 to 2 inches. So we're going to have to be watching out for that too, how much rain we could get from this. You can see we do have a pretty good footprint of that rain. And, if we were to go up in the northern Minnesota, that's snow. You can see up there, that is snow. That is not that's not rain, because this is precipitation. Precipitation, of course, is hail, snow, sleet. It's all that rain. So that would be snow. But down here, this is all rain. You can see we do have quite a bit of that. Probably 1 to 2 inches, generally where you do get it from the storm. Now, if we were to move over into the European model, you can see here it is, the snow totals. This is way different than the European model. GFS model. Here's the GFS model. Here's the European model. You can see this has it more west, the biggest totals. If you do remember, the GFS model had us in almost 2 feet of snow, but but with the European model across northwestern Minnesota, it's like a dusting. We don't really have anything. You can see, but with the European model across North Dakota, we're picking up 2 feet of snow, maybe even 2.5 feet. Quite a bit of snow. Bismarck, 22 inches. We do have a lot of snow in place with this model. Leeds, almost more than 2 feet of snow. Minute, 9.7. You can see across Williston, almost 5 inches. Across Montana, still about the same thing. We still do have in these highest elevations, probably 8 inches across Billings, 10 inches across Bozeman, 3 inches across Great Falls. Gwinnett, probably 5.6 inches. That'd just be 6 inches if we were to round up, somewhere around 6 inches. Missoula, 2 inches. Kalispell, 9.9 inches, or you probably an inch or a dusting. You can see across parts of western Washington, we do have some snow in place in those high elevations, anywhere from 3 to 6 inches in those highest elevations. Other than that, maybe 1 to 3. But you can see it's not very widespread across there. Central Idaho, we do actually have some in place. Probably 1 to 3 inches generally across those lower elevations, and 3 to 5 inches in those highest elevations, especially where we do have the most of that moisture. Now, you do have to remember, it has to be cold enough for the snow, too. That is big in this system. But you can see northwestern Wyoming, probably 6 to 12 inches, picking up quite a bit. Cody, around 6 inches. Then Lander, 4 inches. Casper, around 6 or 7 inches. Gillette, around 7 to 8 inches. But you can see across Rapid City, South Dakota, Buffalo, anywhere from 8 to 10 inches. Pierre, I'm not too sure, 9 inches. You can see Aberdeen around 9 inches. Huron, 7 inches. Sioux Falls, 1.5 inches. You can see this is a big difference from the GFS model. I'm trying to show you, the huge difference and what we're looking at. Denver, this does have 2 inches. So either way, it's looking like Denver, you will get around 2 to 3 inches of snow, which is a good thing because finally we're getting some snow across there. I know y'all do love your snow there. I love my snow in the eastern United States, but we're not seeing it yet. Probably not till December where I am. But you can see we do have a big difference in these models. And if we were to look at the NAM model, you can see it doesn't even go that far out. So, we can't really look at that yet. We can't look at that exactly yet. But usually with these systems, we do like to favor the European model more. But when there's this much of a difference, either model could be right. It really just doesn't matter how much cold air are we getting into these regions, especially across Minnesota. How much cold air will we be able to get in there? That is our big question right now, and we really don't know. You can see right here, this does bring all that snow across Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, Colorado. In the North Dakota, you get a lot of snow. Somewhere, late week, mid to late week, you can see snow across Colorado, Nebraska, Wyoming, South Dakota on the southern side of the storm, rain on the eastern side of the storm. But you can see how the snow never really does enter Minnesota on this. We don't really get much snow at all. It'll be on the back side, it looks like. You can see on the back side of this, we do get some with this model. And that green is wet snow, and the blue is rain. But you can see we even do get a rain with snow mix, it shows. But, we really don't get full snow with the European model. But with the GFS, yeah, we're in the snow. We have quite a bit of snow in place for Minnesota. You can see in that white, we'd have the snow in place. So there's a big, big difference. Here's the GFS bringing you full-on snow. Then there's the European bringing you rain and snow, wet snow, possibly. You can see rain, but mainly rain throughout the whole time. And then at the back end, we do get some. If we were to look at rain accumulation, you can see quite a bit across Missouri, Arkansas, maybe picking up 2 to 4 inches of rain. Possible flooding is definitely possible. We're going to have to see. You can see across North Dakota, we still do have that rain in place. We definitely could. Ahead of this system, we are getting rain for some. We will have very saturated grounds when the snow does start falling. So we're going to have to see how much we can pick up. But right now, it's looking like eastern North Dakota or northwestern Minnesota, maybe even South Dakota, is where we may be picking up the most of our snow in this system. We're just going to have to see where it does end up going. But yeah, guys, I hope you did enjoy today's video. If you did, consider subscribing and leaving a like down below. I may have a double upload tomorrow, or maybe a double upload Tuesday. If this system does get some changes, it definitely will. So either a double upload on Monday or Tuesday, we're going to have to see. But I do hope you went on to enjoy today's video. If you did, consider subscribing and leaving a like down below. And I will see you guys in the next video. This storm will be a crazy one.